Did we lose anybody?
Everybody.
I can see her screen based on the tilt.
Perfect. We got a big mirror here.
Yeah, that works.
So this piece of equipment is it's a dimming rack, but it's actually filled with just the relay modules right now, which control the power to the fixtures. There's a door with a filter on it. It'll probably want to be cleaned kind of once construction gets done, and then maybe annually from that point on. For the FM guys, the filter just twists out of this. Just twists out of here. Sharper around the edge. It's washable, vacuumable. We usually, it's bi-directional. We usually have people put it back with the label in. That way the dust all stays on the outside. They're all shipped from the factory with the label in. Let's see. Now for my next trick, you'll watch me get this back in.
Is that something that we can just do ourselves, or is that something that...
As far as we're concerned, anyone can do that.
Can you just clean it with water? What
Yes.
do you clean
Yes.
it with?
Vacuum is what I would do.
Vacuum. Okay.
But it can be washed. Just make sure it's dry before it goes back.
Yeah, if you vacuum it, you can put it right back in right away.
Okay.
There is a fan that exhausts out the top here to help keep things cool inside. There is a circuit breaker for each of the 7 circuits out there. These actually come 2 circuits to a module, so the 8th circuit breaker doesn't go anywhere right now. Each of these modules has a signal light to tell if it's being told to be on. It doesn't necessarily mean there's power leaving the system, but it means that it's being told.
About a 90% probability if the signal light's on.
Exactly. On is to the left with the breakers, off is to the right.
These are all 20, I assume?
Correct. No, 20.
There's a test switch up on the top right corner here. So if in the event of a control failure, if the processor fails, you can click everything on to full. The fan will kick up in intensity at that point as well, but it's a way to get lights on if something happens. It's not going to look any difference because they were on before anyway.
Then at the bottom of this control rack, there's a small computer processor here, which handles the touch screen and saves the presets and a few other housekeeping type operations. It has a menu structure similar to what's on the fixtures, with a check mark for enter and up and down arrows, or you can do iPod style control through here. There generally isn't much that needs to be done with this setup. However, you can save your presets to an SD card or USB stick for a later recall if you want to. A member of our studio audience has a USB stick. Oh, wow, look at that. So there's an SD card slot here and a USB slot here for a flash drive. To save the current settings, I hit the check to go into the menu, and I choose File Operations, and I can save what's called the architectural configuration. It's the station communications and everything else. And I can save it to USB key. I can choose a name too, which is Paradigm Config 1 through
32.
32, okay. I wasn't sure it was 32 or 99. Save to USB key. Already exists. Overwrite? Sure.
I've saved to that one before.
You can rename the number on a computer later. It's just there's not a keyboard here, so they give you a sort of limited set of names to choose from. You can always rename it to some sort of Studio Fall 2013 or whatever. And then that's it. Then you can go through the same process, instead choosing Load to recall for those preset settings.
So if you do, have a lighting setup, and if you get presets that you really want in there that you use all the time, we definitely suggest that you save those, because it just makes restoring a lot easier if something happens, someone erases something, or something happens.
So this is sort of like a backup to the touchscreen, you know?
Well, it's where the memory really is of the touchscreen.
Okay.
That's just a communication device.
Okay,
And it's just
got it.
talking to this. So that's where it's all stored.
Otherwise, on a day-to-day operations point of view, you can sort of forget that this even exists. It kind of just takes care of itself in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
The disconnect for this is down in mechanical room 4, and it's in the main distribution panel board, and it's probably
It should be marked.
yeah, it didn't have the plate on it yet, but it was like 7911. Yep, and we put a little sticker on the front here that says where the disconnect is for it.
The other important thing about this sticker is it has the phone number of the factory, who are very good at talking people out of situations that are very bad.
I love that.
And they like to do it too, so don't hesitate to call them. If you have even an operations question, they're very good about that. Sometimes if they get stumped, they'll tell you to call us, but we don't always answer our phone because we are doing other things like teaching people or standing on ladders or doing things. So, but the factory's always a good resource.
They may ask you about if you know your job name and job number, and they're both on here. Technical support is free, but it helps them look up drawings and other information about what's here.
So what is on that?
So
Oh, I can't get it in focus, but whatever.
The job number and the job name.
Okay.
Because if you say I'm calling from the University of Minnesota, they'll say there's 400 jobs at the University of Minnesota.
The
Okay.
reason being,
If you say I'm calling from the Bohannon Hall, then maybe they'll
50-foot cord.
Okay.
narrow it down, but sometimes it takes a while. The number is really the best thing to have.
Okay.
anyway, it's really just how the information about the system is filed in their system. So,
Okay.
Control rack?
control